Hello, Virgo. Let me cut this short. Get ready for what exactly? What preparation is required for someone potentially showing up? And more importantly, do you even want to see this person? Because content that tells you to prepare for someone's arrival assumes you're sitting around waiting for them, assumes their timing matters more than yours, assumes you have no agency in whether this meeting even happens. So let's talk about what planning to see you actually means and why passive waiting for someone else's decision is terrible relational strategy. Planning isn't commitment. Someone can plan to do something and then not do it, can intend to reach out and then change their mind, can build toward action and then lose nerve at the last moment. So they are planning doesn't mean they will definitely. It means they're thinking about it, considering it, maybe taking preliminary steps. But preliminary steps don't guarantee follow through. Intention doesn't equal action. Planning doesn't ensure execution. So even if this is accurate, even if someone is genuinely planning to see you face to face, that planning might never translate into actual meeting, might remain internal process that doesn't become external reality, which means you could be getting ready for something that never arrives. How long are you willing to prepare for someone who might not show up? Set that limit now, because here's what get ready implies that you should be preparing yourself emotionally, physically, mentally for encounter that supposedly is approaching, but ready for what purpose? Ready to receive them warmly, ready to establish boundaries, ready to decline the meeting entirely. The instruction assumes you want this meeting, assumes you're hoping for their arrival, assumes your role is preparation rather than decision making. But maybe you don't want to see them. Maybe their showing up would be intrusion, not gift. Maybe you're fine with current distance and have no interest in face to face encounter. So, before you get ready, before you prepare, before you make yourself available, decide, do you actually want this? Is their planning to see you something you welcome or something you need to prevent? What's your actual preference about seeing this person? Answer based on what serves you, not on what you think you should want. Because I need to address who this is probably about. Most likely it's ex or former connection or person you were close to who's been distant, someone whose physical presence would carry weight because of shared history. And if that's who this is, if someone from your past is supposedly planning to show up, first question isn't when will they arrive? First question is, do I want them in my physical space? Because proximity creates pressure. Face to face interaction is harder to control than digital communication. Being in someone's presence activates attachment patterns and emotional responses that are easier to manage from distance. So, if you've been maintaining boundaries, if you've been doing work to move on, if you've been building life that doesn't include them, their physical arrival could disrupt that, could reactivate old patterns, could pull you back into dynamics you've been working to escape. And you're allowed to prevent that, allowed to decline the meeting, allowed to say, I'm not available for face to face conversation. Their planning doesn't create obligation on your part to be available. Do you have permission to decline if that's what serves you. Give yourself that permission now. Because here's what face to face specifically suggests: they want direct interaction, want to say things that require physical presence, want conversation that can't happen through text or phone, and that desire it could indicate multiple things. Could be genuine desire for connection, for seeing you, for being in your presence because that matters to them. Could be manipulation, knowing that face to face conversation gives them advantages they don't have digitally, knowing you're less likely to maintain boundaries in person, knowing physical presence activates your attachment in ways distance doesn't, could be practical need, something they need to communicate or retrieve or resolve that requires in person interaction. You won't know which until it happens, if it happens. But you can decide ahead of time which motivations you're willing to engage with and which you're not. What would make face to face meeting worthwhile versus what would make it harmful. Get clear on your criteria because I want to talk about the preparation aspect. If you do want this meeting, if their arrival would be welcome, if you're hoping for this encounter, preparation isn't about looking perfect or having your life together or presenting carefully curated version of yourself. Preparation is about being grounded, being clear about what you want from the interaction, being ready to maintain boundaries if needed, being capable of saying no to things that don't serve you even when you're in their physical presence. That's useful preparation, not physical appearance management, not rehearsing what you'll say, not trying to control their perception of you, just being solid in yourself, knowing what you need, being willing to honor that even under pressure of their presence. Can you be that grounded, or will their physical proximity destabilize you? Assess honestly before the moment arrives, because here's what often happens when long awaited meetings finally occur: they don't match the fantasy. The person is different than you remembered or imagined. The chemistry isn't what it was. The conversation is awkward or disappointing or reveals incompatibilities you were overlooking from distance. Or it does match the fantasy, and that creates its own problems. Because if the connection is still there, if the chemistry is undeniable, if being in their presence confirms what you've been feeling, then you have to decide what to do with that information. Whether to re engage with someone you've been trying to move past, whether to risk the vulnerability of trying again, whether the reasons you're apart have actually changed, or whether you're just getting pulled back in by familiarity. Either way, match or mismatch the meeting creates decision point, creates moment where you have to choose rather than just wait. Are you ready to choose, or are you still hoping circumstances will choose for you? Because that's the real preparation needed. Because I also need to address the possibility that this is projection, that you're the one wanting face to face meeting. You're the one planning. You're the one thinking about showing up. And content is giving you permission, validating the planning, making it feel like cosmic alignment rather than just your desire. So you watch content about them planning to see you. You interpret it as confirmation that your planning is mirrored. You feel validated in your desire to create in-person encounter, but the content isn't seeing them, it's reflecting you. It's describing your energy and you're projecting it onto the other person. If that's what's actually happening, If you're the one planning, own it. Don't hide behind content that suggests they're initiating. Don't pretend cosmic forces are orchestrating what's actually your choice. If you want to see them, if you want face to face meeting, initiate it yourself. Take responsibility for your desire. Create the encounter rather than waiting for them to create it. Are you projecting your planning onto them? Get honest about whose energy this actually is. Because ultimately, here's what this comes down to: content says someone is planning to see you face to face, that you should get ready. That encounter is approaching. And maybe that's true. Maybe someone is building toward that. Maybe meeting will happen. But your response shouldn't be passive preparation. Shouldn't be making yourself available and waiting for them to execute their plan on their timeline. Your response should be active decision making. Do I want this? Does this serve me? Am I available for this encounter? And based on those answers, you either create conditions for meeting to happen well, or you establish boundaries that prevent it from happening at all. Both are valid. Both are powerful. Both are you exercising agency instead of just receiving whatever someone else decides to do. So stop getting ready for someone else's plan. Start deciding what your plan is. Do you want to see them? Yes or no? If yes, what conditions would make that meeting worthwhile? What boundaries do you need? What outcome would justify the vulnerability? If no, what communication makes that clear? What boundaries prevent the meeting? What response honors your need for continued distance? Answer those questions, then act accordingly. That's your power. Not preparing for their arrival, but deciding whether you're available for it. Use that power. Stop being passive recipient of other people's plans. Your life, your space, your decision, not theirs, yours. Make it from that place. And whatever happens, you'll know you chose it consciously rather than just letting it happen to you. That's the only preparation that matters. Everything else is just performance. Someone planning to see you doesn't create obligation to be available. Decide if you want the meeting. If yes, set terms. If no, establish boundaries. Stop passively preparing for other people's plans and start actively deciding what serves you, your space, your choice, your power.